Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer. I'm joined today by Todd, portraying Astro Jamin.
Greetings.
Chuck, portraying Evelene Bolick.
Present.
Jeremy, portraying Dyne Starseeker.
Hello?
And Jay, portraying Steve Starling.
Sup?
We return to our pilots in the depths of Lumiere, Salacia. They've taken the station with the assistance of rebels called in by Steve's favor, who now hold the perimeter while the DBC crew venture inside. Where we left off, they found out about lockdown rooms designed for the housing of personnel in the event of an emergency. An emergency quite like the one they've instigated. They start to head towards the nearest one. Welcome back, pilots.
Hi.
We're back.
Good morning.
Is it really?
Morning?
Yeah.
Some people
Good,
it is.
debatable. Morning, yes. But yeah, we are back in the game here. We have left off, as I said in the intro, you guys are navigating through Lumiere. You've had very little in the way of resistance thus far, going through the station, other than like a specific turret that you were able to easily take out with a perfectly timed grenade. But yeah, most of your issue has been navigation and trying to get from point to point. Unfortunately, it seems like most of the things you need in here are in the heavy security areas, and you've mostly been moving through support areas and like not residential, but like bunk areas, like bunking and resting areas. You're headed towards the higher security zones, but I believe where we ended things, you had all decided that trying to find a person in here would help you. So you remind me, you were looking for a security, like a panic room.
Panic room, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone couldn't make it to this central citadel in time in an emergency, where would they go? And I think we identified there's some places that are like panic rooms or safe rooms that can be used. So we were going to check out one of those areas.
And that is absolutely the case. You did identify the nearest one to the location you plugged in. Do you remember where you got this information? Where were you when you plugged in and found out where this stuff was?
Remind me.
Well, I ask because I'm genuinely curious, because there were two places I remember you doing things, and one of them I think was when you found the computers near to the interstation transit, like cargo transit system.
I remember that, yeah.
I think that might have been where it was, but I do remember there was at least one other instance of when you got to a more residentially area, there were security rooms and stuff like that. It might have been one of those.
Yeah, I think it might have been the latter, because I think in the the cargo transport room, most of the computer systems were just
about
local
that.
to operating the belts and the machinery in there. And so I think we found a more a generalized terminal or something like that I hacked into with my subjectivity enhancement suite.
Okay.
I love the idea of someone watching and listening to all of these and just going from episode to episode, and they're just why the fuck are these idiots why can't they just remember the thing they did 5 seconds ago?
Turns out that location was really important.
He just did that. What the hell?
There's so much to remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, we record these weeks apart from each other sometimes.
The listeners you literally killed a guy for this information. How do you not remember?
Look, I kill a lot of guys. It's hard to remember all of them.
For me, it was a Tuesday. All right, so you're headed towards the nearest panic room. What is your marching order? As you move through these hallways, note that like it's not cramped in any way. Are you guys like walking abreast? Are you like keeping a line order? Are you moving strategically, or are you just strolling? Like, how do you move through the station?
Astro will kind of take the lead because he downloaded all this map data and he shared it with everyone. But he's sort of like, since he's been looking at it, he's been trying to figure out where we should go. He's like, I think we should go to this room, and he's like, kind of the one consulting the map and navigating. And he's trying to move. I would say he's trying to. He's not actively being stealthy, but he's not trying to. He's not like being nonchalant about it either. I think he's going to try to move quietly. He's not going to stomp around if he can help it.
Yeah, I'm just following behind him. I mean, I assume I'm doing like pretty normal. I'm in enemy territory, looking around with a gun stuff. So
okay, yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering. So it's like you're on. I'm doing the like military gun out, like aiming around, like as you approach and round corners, you're like doing the thing where you clear corners and stuff like that. Is that the case?
Right? Yeah, okay. I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the other two?
I guess I'm behind Steve. Mostly just trying to be aware of my surroundings. I'm not actively looking for anything particular because I don't really know what to expect at this point.
I would probably just bring up the rear then, and since we had already encountered a turret, Dyne's trying to be more acutely aware of. I mean, even if we don't run into people, just things that might try to kill us again.
All right. So yeah, the way I see this then is we have Astro kind of like plotting a course, leading the walk, is like we have Steve like kind of keeping up with Astro, checking corners, clearing hallways, making sure that no one's coming up to your sides. We have Evelene who's kind of like marching along with the pack, just waiting for stuff to happen that she's can help with. And then Dyne following behind, like keeping more of like a more trained like analytical eye on like, okay, there might not be a person actively shooting at us, but what's that wall panel over there? Do I think that's a hatch? Like looking at the little tiny details. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it
seems about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool beans. You guys move through the station, and it does not take long before you hear some loud noises in the distance. Does anyone have like a discernment check they can make? Like, you just heard a loud noise. What kind of noise? Can you relate it to something?
I can charm the noise. Hey.
Word on the street.
Noise.
This is more like you heard a noise. How likely are you to recognize it?
The closest I have is read a situation. Otherwise, it would just be a flat roll.
That seems plausible.
Could be, but I don't know.
Closest I have is spot, so I think Steve is more likely.
Steve, go ahead and give me a read a situation.
21.
Nice.
Steve, you get a sense of the pattern here from read a situation. And what you realize is it is coming from the direction of where you've come from is where the noise comes from, which changes the further you move, but always stays a set distance behind you. Like it's trying not to be too close. And what you realize you're hearing are security shutters closing.
Huh.
From your successful read a situation, you start to feel like someone's trying to pen you in.
Yeah, I'll say like they're closing shutters behind us. I'm pretty sure. We either need to move fast or think of something.
Oh, yeah. Astro's like, well, shit. That means they're following us like on a camera or something, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise.
Well, they know we're here, so...
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what we can do in this situation other than press forward. I mean, we can't disable every camera we come across, because then it'll just figure out where we've been based on the destroyed cameras.
Well, we just got to find someone and make them cooperate. Which that sounds awful to say.
Just shoot him in the foot. It worked last time.
Listen, I was in
I'll
a
look
tough
at you both
situation.
oddly.
I was in a tough situation. Let's focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, but seriously, I'm sure if we find an employee, they might have some insight on how to get out of here, because I don't think we have enough information right now to plan an escape route.
Let's move on.
Are there visible cameras, or do we think they're using like some sort of sensor system to find us?
Good question.
Taking the time to really look, unless they're incredibly well hidden, you do not easily find any security cameras.
I think it's fair to say then it is likely some sort of sensor reading. Do we have like pretty traditional ways of sensors finding people, heat or something like that? Or
from just being a pilot, you have sensors that detect like engine signatures, heat, magnetism, like body heat signatures. Like there are like a radar. There are all the conceivable ways of in modern life to detect a thing that exists.
Okay.
And maybe a couple extra that are things like very specific tunings to like alloys or something like that. You know what I mean? Like targeted metal detectors or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Is there furniture around, or like what kind of like what are we looking at right now? Just a metal hallway with nothing in it, or?
So up until now, you've been mostly moving through security hallways, like backroom style hallways, right? Like corporate-y metal bulkhead, like inside of a ship bulkhead style hallways. There have been doors off to sides that go into like smaller rooms. And what you've noticed is that a lot of these rooms are unfurnished. This is obviously a station in the midst of being outfitted. In fact, there were some doors that you could not open because you detected unfinished area behind it, for example, like literally just the room beyond this door isn't constructed yet kind of stuff. But that changes as you head in this direction. You start heading towards an area that, while not adding furniture, the outfitting of the hallways change. You start to see tracks upon the hallway, because it happens as soon as you go past a certain intersection. There are tracks along the hallway on the left and right and top. So it's like on the 3 points, there's like tracks on the left, right, and above that you don't know what they're for because you don't see anything attached to those tracks right now. And that seems to continue off in the hallway you're passing. So it's like you come to a T section from one of the two tops of the T, and then the corner it makes with the other two, both hallways are like that.
So these are tracks, again, these are tracks on the ceiling, you said?
Ceiling, left wall, right wall. Not on the floor, just tracks on the two walls and the ceiling.
Okay. Do they seem like they would be like tracks for moving cargo around?
They could be.
Yeah. Just not sure. Okay.
It could be multi-purpose. It could be security. They could turrets could go across this track and chase us down.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with them knowing where we are exactly, and if we're gonna get out of here safely and easily, we need to disrupt that some way. Do you think you guys, anyone here, can get into the environmental controls?
We can make an attempt.
If we can heat it up in here so that it's harder to find us, they're likely looking for heat signatures. I was thinking about starting some fires or something to confuse them, but we either need to get to the controls for the security system or their sensors, or somehow try to mess up the sensors, I feel like.
Okay. I can look at my map and see if there's anything like a is there anything on my map that indicates like this is the environment controls room or life support center?
Unfortunately, those system critical systems are further within the station. You know that there are local overrides for some of that stuff, but it would be enough to like maybe fuck up the environment of the room you're currently occupying. You know what I mean? Like if you got to a room that could do that. But more system level controls are located further internally to the station. You could conceivably try to get to them from a local access point, but you do know from your last experience trying to get there, they've done a fairly good job gapping their higher security functions from their lower security terminals. But it is a thing you can try to do because of how good you are. You'll just need to find an access point.
Okay.
I mean, it's time consuming, but even if you just adjust the controls for the rooms that we pass through to be like, 98 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, then...
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be like a thermostat or something at least, I would hope.
Would the idea there be to leave them that way as you move on? So it's like every single section gets like hotter as you move through it, and then you leave them there? Yeah.
So
okay, I see the idea.
It shows a trail of where we're going, potentially. I mean, we could backtrack, but then we know they don't know for sure if we're still in
which one of those. Exactly. I totally get it.
Anything we can do to mess up their information on us right now is what I'm thinking.
I mean, if you want to start that process, I will be willing to let you do a small, what do they call them? Ongoing check? Not an ongoing check, like a skill challenge. Like I would let you do a small challenge to determine whether or not you succeeded that, if you would like to try that, because it represents you doing that for the remainder of this walk, basically.
Yeah. I'd be interested in trying that. So if there's like a local access point, I can is there like a thermostat I can remove the panel of or something in each room and try to hack it to
yeah it's exactly what Steve suggested. It's like you're literally going to the local controls for each section as you move through the section and like basically just like fuzzing them off to like try to get them to body temp, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to need I'm going to say we're going to need at least 2 successes out of 3 checks. But you can run into complications depending on how the checks go. So I will need your first check. What are you doing to kind of make sure that this works? Just to make it work in the first place, what skill are you using?
Right, yeah. I'm wondering if I should do something different from hack or fix just to set myself up for success here. Act unseen or unheard. Get somewhere or do something without detection. Can I use acts unseen or unheard to make sure my tampering isn't? Never mind.
I see where you're going there. I don't mind that idea.
Okay, yeah, like my tampering isn't
immediately found,
immediately detected. Yeah,
right.
Like because they could, if they see me, like if they.
So it sounds like to me
time,
you're trying to get the temperature as close to our like body temp as possible, so that we just kind of disappear to them. Right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're going to fuzz yourselves out like over a period of time and like set it up so that like they don't immediately just run to their environmental controls and fix it,
Right.
Like make it take them a while to determine how to fix this.
Yeah, more of what Bob was saying. Like I think the general idea is raising the temps to make it hard to track us, but I want to do it in such a way that it's not immediately obvious when and where I did it exactly. It'll take some time to undo.
I like it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I will roll that up, and I got a 12.
With a 12, you're able to, as you move through these areas, kind of almost set them so that they will slowly tick up. So it won't even seem like on the other end, like they just go from seeing you to not seeing you. It's more like over time, you just kind of slowly get harder and harder to see until all of a sudden it's like multiple sections they would have to go in and fix to try and figure out where you are.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Check 2 will be, how do you try to put a wedge in here to prevent them from fixing it?
Okay, this is where I think I'm going to use hacker fix. Basically,
Here's a fun thing,
okay,
Todd.
Sure. Yep.
You don't know why yet. This is a dangerous check.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
That is fun. So I'm going to try to put in some sort of virus that cuts off their like admin privileges, basically. So they can't just go in and undo it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. Making it so there's something in their way when they try to just do the thing they would normally do, which is go to their terminal and change the thermostat.
Yeah. And it's probably like something they can fix, but it would just take time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'll use hacker fix. That's a +6 for me. Dangerous roll. Let's see what we got. 17. Not quite over 20 though.
Astro, you've gotten it wedged in place. You think that you have some time before they will be able to undo what you're doing here. As you do this, though, you all of a sudden find yourself unable to disconnect.
Uh-oh.
Did you just get hacked back?
You feel the inability to log out. You are currently using your subjectivity enhancement suite, and you are, fully immersed. And you've seen this before, and it's very rare for it to happen. You think there is someone live counteracting you. There is a hostile operator in the system right now with you. What do you do?
Okay. I will try to trace where that live operator is on the station, if they're on the station even.
Okay. What are you going to use to do that, both narratively and skill trigger wise?
Let me think. I might change what I want to do based off of. Okay, so I think actually what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to try to cut off any network access to the terminal that I'm jacked into. So the person who is like messing with me directly can't communicate with the terminal I'm in. Does that make sense? So like
Absolutely, it
I'm
does.
isolating my own terminal so I can log out.
Yeah. This will, I mean, even if you're successful, this will make this terminal going into the future no longer usable, right? You're burning this terminal to get out safely, basically, which isn't really a downside that much. You could always find another terminal. I'm just, putting it in narratively what's happening here.
Yeah. So I could say this is a take control check.
Take control would make sense.
Yeah.
You're using force, technological force, to take control of your situation. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is another dangerous check.
I bet it is. Ooh, and that is a 9, sadly. Okay.
As you try to cut off this terminal from outside interference, you find yourself locked out of the terminal. It no longer responds to your commands, even though you're directly accessing it. As you kind of try to find a way to remove yourself, to get, your consciousness back to yourself and like step away, you see what looks to be a planet manifest in front of you. A small one, like globe size, like if you were in an office, like a globe on a table. And as it spins, you see that the nations on the planet are never the same. Every time it turns, it never goes back to a configuration it was previously. The planet keeps spinning, and the nations and continents on it keep changing. Every time you see it rotates back to the same sides. It is approaching you. What do you do?
Oh, the planet itself is approaching me.
Yes,
okay.
This manifestation is approaching you. Todd, COMET, Astro, has become an expert hacker. You believe this is black ice. This is something that will try to kill you.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So okay, so I'm locked out of my own terminal. I have this thing coming towards me. So can I say I might have like a fail safe within my subjectivity enhancement suite that allows me to jack out, but it destroys the enhancement suite permanently?
I love this idea because it does have a cost to yourself.
Yeah.
What I will say is it will allow you to use a check to disengage. The cost up front is no matter how successful you are, it destroys the subjectivity enhancement suite, but it downgrades the check to a normal, non-dangerous check.
Okay.
There's still a chance for failure, but what sacrificing the subjectivity enhancement suite does is it makes it a normal check, not a dangerous check.
Okay, great. And I think I'll just use hacker fix here because totally wreck, disable, or sabotage a device.
And because you're getting rid of something so important, I am going to give you accuracy on the roll.
Okay. Awesome. This keeps happening. My hacker fix is back to +2.
Oh yeah, I see that on your person too. That it should be like +6.
+6. Yeah, I just changed it. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's really bizarre. But I'll have to look at that later. Okay, it's at +6 now. Accuracy. Let's see what I. Wow, with all that, I rolled a 10.
It is,
but it is a 10.
It is very good that you had those bonuses because you rolled a 2 on your D20, you rolled a 2 on your D6, and you had a +6. So you needed exactly that to get out. And
Yes,
I think narratively, how you come out should represent that. When the party sees you flung back into your body and your subjectivity enhancement suite destroyed, what does that look like to everyone around you?
So the subjectivity enhancement suite, just as a reminder, is like a cybernetic implant in Astro's wrist, and it's like a panel he opens up in his wrist, and there's like literally like a USB cord or something, like some kind of cord that comes out and jacks
Hand him the aux, he's
gonna... yeah it's an aux cable. So he can play his tunes, and what you see is the cable just like sparks, like there's a giant spark where it's attached, where it's currently plugged in, and it detaches with a big arc of electricity and a big spark, and Astro just sort of reemerges into his body with like a staggered kind of step back, like it's very violent sort of reaction. It looks like it hurt.
The port that you pull out of literally smokes a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And Astro's like, "Oh my god, whew,
you okay, boss? You don't look. What the hell was that?"
There's someone in there countering what I was doing. I was locked out of my own system. I had to engage the failsafe to get out, which, he looks at his wrist, ruins my implant. He'll just say, "I'm afraid I can't use this baby anymore."
Well, that's not good.
I mean, I still know how to, hack into things old-fashioned way, but it's going to be a lot more difficult, especially if there's a live operator countering my every move.
So there's someone watching for you?
All I know is that when I was messing with the systems, there is resistance from live resistance. It's like it was reacting to the changes I was making. So either it was a operator, another person, monitoring the systems, countering my moves, or maybe it was some AI system that was able to react to me. I can't say for sure, but it tried to launch an attack on me that probably would have killed me if I remained jacked in with my subjectivity enhancement suite. That's why I had to engage a failsafe. Overall, though, was I successful in doing what I wanted to do?
You accomplished exactly what you wanted. The downside was that someone tried to attack you, basically, in cyberspace.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of time, then, it sounds like.
Yeah, Astro would be like, I was able to do what we wanted to do. But, yeah.
Then we should hurry. Try to find their control center as soon as possible.
Yep. Well, let's get to that panic room and see who we can persuade to help us.
All right. And as you move down these corridors, it gets uncomfortably warm. It is warm in here. You guys are already wearing, hard suits and stuff that protect you from vacuum. So it's probably not too uncomfortable for you. But it is notable. Like it is it's more like tromping around in a jungle now than it is like moving through temperature controlled rooms. In fact, as a side effect, it seems like whatever is built into the station has activated some like subsystems to counteract like the other environmental knock-ons from that. You note that it is getting significantly drier in here as well. Like the humidity readings on your suits are noting that there is much less moisture in the air now.
It's a dry heat. It's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad. It's also like someone turned on a big central furnace, so the shitty heat has just turned on all over the place. But you guys get there without harassment. You guys approach what appears to be like a cut-in. Like it is like a hallway turns sharply at a corner. Chuck just posted a picture of the shelters from Control. That's what I was about to describe. If anyone has played Control, it looks like the big black fucking doors for the shelters in Control.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they look like. So good call, Charles. That's what I was about to describe. So it's like you're going along a corner into a hallway, but in that corner, like that hallway's only purpose is one side of the hallway is cut back further than the rest of the hallway and has this big door, this big shelter door. It's made of black, almost like a marble. It like bank doors, like vault doors. It has like a track along the ceiling and the floor around the door where it looks like the door itself is supposed to get on that track and be pulled aside. This is a heavy duty, like, panic room.
Probably a lot of black rock.
Yeah, it looks like black rock. It looks like black marble.
Gotcha.
And it's set like it has the big stenciled letters on it and everything. It says, shelter room 4 on it.
All right, now we just have to get in.
Isn't that usually the hard part of panic rooms?
Yeah, I'm not.
They're
sure
often designed to keep people in and keep people out. So,
is there a comm interface, Bob, at all on it?
There is. Yeah, there absolutely is. There's a comm system for talking through the door to one side of it.
So there is a device on the exterior. I mean, it probably doesn't control the door potentially, but I'm just looking to see what our options are right now.
There is a control panel on the door itself that is separate from the comm panel.
Okay.
So there are two interfaces. They're on the door itself. There is you imagine to be a control panel. To the left of the door, there is what can only be described as a comm panel. That is the only function it serves. You have seen comm panels in spaceships and space stations. You know what those look like.
I'll go up to the comm panel and I'll press the button and I'll say, "Hello, anyone in there?"
I was hoping you could do that.
There is a long wait. And then it clicks on. You hear a little bit of static in the background for a moment. And you go, what's the password?
Open Sesame?
No. When
There's
you do Todd,
no response.
When you Todd ask, you say, "Well, what is the password?" You tell me.
I'll say, listen, we're the reason you guys are in security lockdown right now. But there's a way for all of this to go back to normal and for us to leave you guys alone and in peace. Are you interested?
So you're terrorists.
Sure. Yes, we're terrorists. But
you say no, Astro. You say no to this. I whisper furiously at him.
I'll say if you like, but we're willing to end our reign of terror. If you could just help us out with a few things.
How do I know you won't kill me?
Well, I can't even get into the door right now.
That's right. So just leave. Leave me alone.
But if you don't help me, we'll find a way to blow up this entire station.
Why me? I don't know anything.
You are the closest panic room we could find. So you are a lucky contestant.
What do you want?
We need to get into the Central Citadel. How do
if you
we
get
do
into
that?
the Central Citadel, you really will blow up the place. I can't let you in there.
We just need some information.
We promise we won't blow up the Central Citadel if you help us find it.
What do you want?
We just need to get some intel that we can only find in the Citadel, and we need to get inside. If we get that, we leave, we call our rebel friends off, and things go back to normal here.
Well, what can I tell you?
Well, how do we get in? If you were, we know your emergency plans call for everyone to lock themselves into the Citadel should something happen, and these panic rooms are more of a contingency. So, say you were able to make it to the Citadel, or say you have to go there afterwards. How would you get in?
Make a pilot check.
I'm going to make a charm check.
Do you think you've been charming?
Well, I'm... so, I don't know if he's a receptive audience, but
you are
am
using
trying to
leverage.
use leverage,
yes. Yeah,
to get my way.
Can I give Astro an assist here?
How did you assist?
Stay cool. Or
no.
No. We're on the street. We're trying to get information from the.
Yes, but you did not contribute to the conversation. You would have needed to provide something in order for an assist to happen here.
I would like to assist, Bob.
Oh yeah, how?
Assault.
Okay. So did you shoot the door? What did you do?
I don't know. I just figured, random skill.
I just have these skill triggers that I wasn't using. I figured one of them I could press the button. No, unfortunately, if you're not assisting with this negotiation, a help does not help here.
Bob, do you have my charm at rank 2 or rank 1?
Your stuff, it keeps changing in front of me as I look at it. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. It just keeps resetting. It's really weird.
Let me pull up. I just recently...
I could have sworn my charm was rank 2.
Because your license level 6, your charm should be +4. Yeah. I just went through these with you recently. You have a charm at +4 and a hacker fix at +6. Everything else should be a 2 for you.
And I changed all these, and they keep going back. It's really weird. All right. So let me roll the charm. Is there anything else I should know?
No, this is just a charm, straight up and down.
14.
Hey.
Okay. He goes, well, I guess if I was going to try and get in, I would have to talk with one of the security stations that's posted around the perimeter, so that they could authorize me entrance.
Okay, good. So are these security stations still manned in the event of an emergency?
They're probably the among the most manned. there's 6 security rooms that circle the outside of the central citadel, and for any one of the intervening entrances to open, you need to hold 2 stations at the same time to open the space between them.
Okay. Great. So it just sounds like I'll say with the intercom off. I'll say, so it sounds like we just need to take control of 2 security stations. Easy, right?
He says, I mean, I would probably just go to Chalmers and say, hey, I've made my way back. They would clear my security info, scan me, probably send someone out to check me and pat me down, and then they would call over to take Mark, and then they would open things up.
Okay, and they have the ability to open up the door, but it's sort of like a 2-man key thing. Like it has to be 2 stations that authorize it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, if you go negotiate with the nearest security room, maybe they'll talk to you. I mean, I don't see why you're talking to me. I'm not that important.
You don't undersell yourself. You're very important. What's your name, by the way?
My name's Lantern. Mickey Lantern.
Mickey Lantern.
I love it.
You shall be known as the savior of this station, Mickey Lantern.
I'm just an attendant.
I will play you in my next film. The heroic Mickey Lantern.
You've said the thing, so I need to roll a 1d100.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hey, wait a second. Are you Astro Jamin?
It finally happened.
I'll say, no, I just am really good friends with him.
So just to make it clear, I rolled a 61 on a D100.
Yeah.
I have a percentile check in my head for whether or not people recognize Astro being a celebrity. The percent chance is higher if people are from the core, because that's where his movies were distributed. So I roll a D100 no matter what, and there are different percentage levels that go over the tipping point depending on where that person is from. This person on a 61 recognizes you, Astro.
Nice.
I know that voice. I get it. He got really popular with the rebels because of the big speeches he did or whatever. I heard you're one of those copycats.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame me though?
I'll push Astro aside for a second. Goes, yeah, okay. Look, you found us out. I'm actually his manager. We're doing a method acting thing for his upcoming movie. Did you not get the Taratella notice?
Taratella's not part of this operation.
I know, that's what makes it method acting. You're not supposed to know, but you found out, so it's kind of ruined here, and we've got to move on.
I'll say to Steve, I had him. You didn't have to reveal all that.
Look, he found out, Astro. It is what it is.
I can't work under these conditions.
Look, maybe we can still use his name in the movie or something. I don't know, but like, I don't think he can be the main character anymore. I mean, not unless he has a bigger role to help you through.
That makes sense, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Was this intercom still on? Are you there, Lantern?
No one ever tells me anything. I feel so confused.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. Look, I'll give you the offer. If you want to come out here and help us get through the security, or at least let us talk with the security boys so that they know what's going on here, then we can move on with this.
I mean, I guess I guess I could.
You're not interested in playing yourself in this movie, are you?
I mean,
all your friends and family would see it. I mean, that would be embarrassing, right? Or
I don't work with amateurs.
Well, he'd have to prove himself here now, right? Sure, but
I don't. Why is this? He clears his throat oddly. I don't know why you're... He sniffs real loudly. I don't know why you're, I'm feeling kind of dizzy.
You okay there, Mickey?
I just back away from the intercom and go, that's not a good sign.
Did they gas the room? I'll hit the intercom again and say, Mickey, you there?
No response.
I'll click off the intercom and go, they might have been listening to us.
Yeah, it seems like it. Okay, well, we should probably get away from this place in case they send someone and plan out our next move.
So, consulting your map, based on what he said, you see what he's talking about. The two closest security rooms to where you are right now are Security Room Tegmark and Security Room Chalmers.
Okay.
They are in different parts of the station, but there is a section betwixt the two that could open a entrance further into the station.
Okay. So, yeah, that would just be the section we want to open to get in, you're saying?
Yeah, imagine there are two towers and there's a security checkpoint in between them. Based on what he said, Astro interprets, it is like a 2-key kind of situation. Both security rooms need to authorize the door opening at the same time for the door to open.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and you know that if you're going to do that without security clearance, you would probably need someone capable of hacking at both locations at the same time.
So our options are, we ask the security people nicely if we can go inside, which I don't think is going to work. Or we take over both security stations and override their authorization. I could do it at one station, but anyone else have any hacking abilities that I don't know about?
Dyne?
Not really. The Artemis is the hacker, not me.
Well,
I figured your AI work might have had some correlation there, but I know it's a stretch.
Not saying I can't try, but I'm not going to be anywhere near as effective as Astro.
Maybe I can prepare a Trojan horse suite that allows you to just plug it in and it will give you control of the terminal.
Or
you will need, even if you set something like that up, COMET, you will need someone who at least has some base level knowledge in order to execute it properly. So someone would need like some level of hacker fix to use whatever you build for them.
Speaking of executing properly, we could also take a hostage.
That's also true.
Bob, I technically have hacker fix. I've always played it as mechanical in nature, but I guess would it be reasonable to use it for this?
I mean, you're a straight up engineer. Like that in this world, it's impossible to do basically the kinds of things you do without having computer literacy. You're probably better at the hardware stuff, but you're probably no slouch with the software stuff.
Okay.
Like
then
a lot of your knowledge is transferable to in many ways to like more computer systems and stuff. So
the way we've been playing it narratively, I would say you probably don't have the formal training in it, and you probably couldn't hack a mech in combat, right?
Right.
But you could absolutely probably, execute programs. You could probably even strip away some GUI to like see deeper into the systems and like work on things that are less like user friendly than most people would be comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, like maybe Evelene's more of a ID. I realize no one's gonna get this reference. She needed a GUI to do stuff where Astro can work from command line, basically.
I can see that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and like Steve says, we can also take a hostage. So, the only question is, how do we take over 2 security stations?
Well, we all go to take over one, and then either 3 of us go to the other while one stays, or we all go to the other and then come back.
Okay, I guess that's what we have to do. Probably we'll take over one. I'll stay behind at the first one, just in case someone comes back or we don't leave it completely unprotected. And the rest of you take over the second one.
Okay.
What's the closest one? Chalmers?
The closest one is Chalmers. Yes.
Okay. Let's head there
as
first.
you all are discussing what your options are, you hear a noise, like not buzzing's the wrong word, but it's like a vibration-y noise ahead of you, coming from the direction that you would be going to leave here.
As someone who was probably doing lookout like I was before, am I able to kind of gauge what it is more quickly than the others? Like,
make a spot check.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I rolled an 8.
You hear it just like everyone else, but you don't know exactly what it is until it's... Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, anything making a noise and coming towards us is bad, so I would want to take cover. But,
oh, sure.
But, yeah.
Unfortunately, the hallways are pretty detritus and stuff free. I mean, the
we have
walls,
like an egress in the shelter, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that it is cut out into one of the walls for where the shelter is built. So you could get up against there, but that is the only cover that this hallway provides. So do you guys move into the alcove?
Yeah.
Sure.
All of you?
I'll follow
Or...
Steve's. I'll follow Steve's lead. I'll just sort of go in the alcove and put my back against the wall.
All right. It is after a moment or two that the noise gets louder, and you all realize what it is moments before you see it, which is the tracks in the walls and ceiling have activated, and something is coming your direction. On the far wall, across from where the cutout from the shelter is, what appears to be an arm, like a robotic arm, zoops into view along the track, holding a gun.
Oh shit!
And it starts shooting at all of you.
Oh.
I'm going to need a group check for getting out of the way.
Man, I really was for some reason, those stairs that have the tracks that old people use on the chairs. Yep. I really just wanted like a senior citizen to be coming down with an AK. What are y'all doing here?
Yeah, totally.
So, anyways, get somewhere quickly. You said get out of the
Absolutely.
way. Absolutely,
perfect. Anything that you guys can use to get out of the way. I'm gonna need one for every one of you.
Stay cool.
9.
That's a quick under pressure one, sure.
8. God damn it!
Can I, in a very inspiring way, tell everyone to jump out of the way of the gun?
That would allow you to pick one of your party members and give them accuracy on the roll if you succeed, at the cost of doing anything yourself.
Sure. let's
because what that would be is failing to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just try to get out of the way.
Maybe just try to get out of the way instead
of. We'll be fine.
If you had a little bit more time to repair, that would be a perfectly acceptable thing to do.
Yeah.
You have to choose between being inspiring or getting shot right now.
I just imagine like Astro standing up, like that Norman Rockwell picture of the guy who's standing up and giving his opinion. And then getting shot to death.
And getting shot, yeah.
Astro stands up. Steve pulls him back down immediately.
About to pontificate, and then. All right. I don't really have a skill for this, so I'm just going to roll a d20 to get out of the way.
Yep, just a pilot check.
We are
cool.
Not good.
Then we just need Dyne.
I get all I have really is I think stay cool, since a spot I didn't notice it apparently, so I guess stay cool works for this. Let's see, can we roll above a 9? A 21. Okay,
you got all the luck.
So, Orion, you successfully throw yourself to the ground. Everyone else tries to dodge in some way or another. Orion, you just hit the fucking deck, and it goes above you because it's a target-rich environment. The rest of you feel the pain as all of you get riddled by at least some of the shots. They are a bit wild, and it is a rapid-fire kind of spray, but it actually fires at you like a fan. Like it starts almost like a typewriter. It starts at one side and just goes do, 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 like firing like in a wide spray. Just none of you get out of the way quite in time. The one downside is these appear to be armor piercing, as all of you will take 2 armor piercing pilot damage.
Ouch.
Hurt. Orion, as you duck beneath this and look up at the wall behind you, these bullets are leaving like thick puncture wounds, even getting into, not through, but like putting large holes in the door behind you even. You can tell that these have some force behind them.
Can I, since I crit that roll, can I follow up to try and neutralize the weapon, since it probably moved past me at this point?
Yeah, you can be the first one to go. This will now become a dangerous check.
Okay. Because I have engineering weapon systems and reactors, which allows me to pinpoint points of weaknesses, can I turn around and try to aim for weaknesses in since it's on that track, moving on that track, to try and dislodge it or throw it off balance?
To do so, you will have to move out into the hallway with it. To get an angle on it.
That's fine. I probably, since I ducked underneath it, I would probably be following behind it.
Yeah,
essentially.
Totally.
Okay.
So this is a dangerous check. What are you using?
I'm going to go with my engineering, since I'm specifically aiming for the weak points.
Weapon
in this
systems for the weak point of it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. 19.
A 19. That's enough that you all watch as you're reeling from, some part of all of your hard suits gets dented or indented badly as you're all pushed back by the force of this puncturing typewriter kind of flying past on the track. You all watch as Dyne jumps out into the hallway, coming up behind its path of motion and firing into the track behind it to dislodge or diswedge it. You watch as the arm kind of sparks and explodes off the wall and falls to slag in front of you, Orion. But before you can turn around in time, you hear another rumbling sound. And you duck just in time. But as you do so, a fixed blade arm on the ceiling track swipes right past you, and you fall to the ground, but it cuts right along your shoulder into your neck. You're going to take 2 pilot damage. Not armor piercing this time, but just 2 flat.
Okay, so I'll take 1 then.
Okay.
With my 1 armor.
As you all watch a like a robotic arm that just along its like the knife side of its hand down to where the elbow is bladed, and it's just aimed towards Dyne and just buzzes past like a car trying to catch him in its momentum. You all start to hear more buzzing sounds come from the distance along the tracks. What do you do?
I go, CHIMERA, is there a way that we can damage the track so that it can inhibit their ability to follow us?
That's exactly what I was going to propose. Are they all coming from the same direction, or
right now they're all coming from the direction that goes towards Security Room Chalmers.
Okay.
So you will need to go back the way you came to get away from these tracks if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'd say let's
fine. We can regroup and figure out another way to get to the security station after we deal with these things.
Right.
Do what you need to do, Evelene.
I vaguely recall, Don, you had thermite at one point in time?
I still do, but I'm not sure if I can. I mean, the track's on the ceiling, right?
There is a single track along the ceiling and then 2 tracks along each opposing wall.
Are the arms using all 4 tracks at once, or all 3 tracks?
No, each arm is on its own track.
Okay.
So the ceiling blade was on the ceiling track. The wall gun was on the wall one.
Well, in the very least, we can use the thermite on the walls. I think that's... well, I don't know how many...
A wall.
Uses. You have 1, okay. Well, that eliminates 1 wall, so that's a start.
I mean, if we're not going to... We might need that thermite later.
Yeah.
All right.
And if we're leaving here, I don't...
Here's a question. The gun that we disabled, is it available?
I mean, it's on the ground.
Can I...
It is the connection that Orion aimed at, so it is where it connected to the wall that broke off.
Can I use the gun and just use it to damage the tracks? I assume it's... You said it was armor piercing, right? So I would think that it could pierce tracks.
So you go over to the remains of the gun arm. You pick it up, and you're going to try and use it to shoot the tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be able to carry it around, but I'm sure I could hotwire the trigger or something just to
you
shoot.
Try to figure out how to get it to work.
Sure.
There are no outside triggers. It seems to have been integrated into this mechanical arm. This is a single piece. The arm and the gun is a single piece. It is not meant for a person to fire. You could try to override that by getting into the guts of it, but that would require a check.
That's what I figured it would be. So it'd be maybe a creative engineering check.
A check and time. And I would absolutely allow creative engineering, but note that you hear more things coming as you sit down to mess with this, and the blade is coming back from the other direction.
I would say I would make the check, but with the caveat that if it takes too long, then it's a fail. I don't want to spend 10, 15 minutes on this.
Well, you guys are a group, so someone would just need to cover you while you're doing this so you don't get shot while this is happening.
We could try to hold it off while you do this.
I'll shoot the one that went by and is starting to come back around with my heavy signature.
Absolutely. Let's walk over to KESTRAL then. This is going to be just a normal pilot check.
Okay, do I just assault, or I roll to attack with the weapon?
It would be an assault. We're in skill trigger mode right now.
Sure. 10.
With a 10, yeah. KESTRAL takes position behind you, CHIMERA, as you get down to start messing with this gun. And just with a few expert aimed shots, KESTRAL, you're able to... One shot throws it off axis, another shot blows it off the wall as a blade arm kind of skids to the ground. It was on its way back, but your shot takes it with the momentum as the blade kind of skids along the ground towards you guys, but then stops.
Okay.
CHIMERA, go ahead and make your check.
Wait, before he makes that roll, as someone who understands weapons, can I use a spot check to help CHIMERA identify details that may make her job easier?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
To try and give her some accuracy, essentially.
Yeah,
Appreciate
sure.
it.
What are you using? Spot. Okay.
I rolled a 4, so no.
So it is still a pilot check, which means on downsides, stuff still happens. Orion, as you lean down to try and help CHIMERA engineer a solution here, KESTRAL and COMET are the only ones left keeping an eye out, which is why as 2 more arms come along the walls, buzzing at your location, they are the only ones available to respond. It is another blade, this time along the wall, that is reaching out across the hallway in like a sideways guillotine motion to try and take you all across the middle, while a gun along the ceiling is getting set up for another strafing shot. It is kind of like a Dark Souls dungeon. Yes, that's correct, Dyne. So, COMET and KESTRAL, you are the only 2 available to deal with these threats. Okay. They will be dangerous checks unless you do something to negate that.
Let me think. I think I probably just have to attack it with my shotgun.
All right. In order to get a good shot on it with your shotgun, you're going to have to be in the line of danger. Which one are you aiming at?
So there's that one that's like coming in like a guillotine.
Yeah. That's the one on the side wall. It's like stretching its blade across the length of the thing. It's not swung out completely, but you can tell it's like cocked, like it's going to release its momentum as it swipes past.
Yeah, so I'll shoot at the like joint or hinge or whatever of the blade, to hopefully try to prevent it from swinging.
Okay, yeah, go for it. This is going to be a dangerous check.
This is just going to be a D20. Phew. Let's roll it. And 16.
Hey.
A 16 is a success. As COMET, you have to get up ahead of it so that it doesn't sweep through your companions. You level a shot against it and bam, your shot takes it in the joint. You watch as it is unable to get its full swing across as it jets past your group, but it is enough to catch you in the arm as it will do 2 pilot damage.
Okay. Got it.
So there's another one coming on the side track?
On the ceiling. So you had side gun, ceiling blade. Now you have side blade, ceiling gun. You watched COMET jump out heroically and shoot one, but then get cut. But the gun's coming past, and you've watched what it's done before, which is like kind of, it's going to strafe past you, going choo, 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 like with the big, strong shots as it comes past.
Is there any way for me to position like the blade that COMET just stopped or the other one that was coming in such a way that it blocks the gun?
You could try to. It would be difficult, but yeah, that one's still the one that COMET just shot is long because it needs to be able to sweep across the entire hallway. And he did jam the joint. It did go past your group, but you could like get behind it, kick it down the track towards the incoming thing, and try to collide them into each other. Yeah. It's just going to be dangerous to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's anything is going to be dangerous here, I think, so
totally
I'll try it. Get somewhere quickly or stay cool, I feel like.
Dexterity or speed versus quickly without, this is more of a stay cool.
Okay, I'll go with that then. Hey, 22, that's a crit.
That is what you needed to not take problems on this dangerous check. KESTRAL, you get over to the one that COMET damaged. It is still attached to the wall. You are able to, with your strength, like shove it up with your shoulder so it's like cocked at an angle towards the ceiling, and you just take it with one heavy boot and kick as hard as you can it along the wall, hard enough that it even, like, it wasn't set up to go that way. So it actually sparks a little bit when you first kick it against the wall, but then it's like you broke through some sort of safety or clasp or something that prevented it from going back the opposite direction. And as after it smacks, it starts to slide backwards in the opposite direction. The gun is incoming. It starts to sight up on your team as it's going to come past, and the blade that you've now put in its path slams into the arm, and then it like snaps to the ceiling. It's almost like it gets clotheslined by the blade facing the other direction and slams itself into the ceiling. Now you've got like a tangle of two arms kind of like collided together just over top of your group.
That was cool.
That's pretty badass.
I mean, maybe this is the obstruction we need.
As you take that sigh of relief, the gun that has been successfully wedged into the ceiling, you start to hear it whir up, and it just goes, choo, choo, choo. It starts shooting the ceiling, and you can see as it slowly starts to rotate and try to shoot the other arm off of it. What do you do?
Is it time for me to roll yet?
Yeah, it can be. You've had enough time now.
So, Todd, I figured that if we used arms to block the track, I could just shoot the arms off. Which is why I was thinking about this destroying the track. Here we go.
What are you using, Chimera?
Creative engineering.
Creative engineering sounds good.
25.
With a 25, you are able to, with Orion's help, you had it though, Chimera. That's a good check. You're able to like refeed the weaponry into it, like the gun into the track. You're able to find what causes the firing to happen, and you aim it up at the ceiling at the collided two pieces of machinery up there. You shoot one of these armor-piercing bolts right through the base where it attaches to the track, and you watch as this spark happens and smoke pours out, and whatever it causes these bullets to be armor piercing seems to have wedged this arm's gripper to the track itself. So it's like you've now stapled it to the track, effectively blocking that track. And then it's heavy. This fucking arm thing, you doubt you could even carry it properly. Oh. It's like, what if carrying a bazooka, but it just is a giant heavy machine gun? Oh. And then you slowly, with it under your arm, aim it down at the side and pull the same trick. And it shoots into the blade arm that's attached along the side, punctures the arm into the base of the track, wedges it in there, and now you have like a tangle of ceiling and wall arm that are like tied into each other and both stapled into the respective tracks.
This is fine.
You still hear that whirring coming from ahead, though.
Perfect.
Cheese it.
Now let's get out of here.
All right. So you retreat back in the opposite direction?
Yeah.
All right. You guys successfully get out of the way. You hear behind you as you've rounded the corner. You know that you had to round a corner to get to where this specific shelter room was. After they're out of eyeshot of you, you hear the sounds of things getting there, things trying to dislodge themselves. You have created some sort of traffic jam back there, and you do not see any very fast-moving arms following you. So that's a good sign.
Good. Okay, we're out of danger for the moment. Maybe we can find some place where there aren't tracks on the wall.
You just have to go back far enough and you'll get back to a place where there aren't tracks on the wall. Because you remember where there started to be tracks on the wall.
Yeah.
So if you retrace your steps, you'll eventually just get there.
Yeah, let's get there. Let's retreat all the way back to that area and kind of regroup, and we'll take another look at the map then and see if we have an alternate way we can maybe reach one of those security stations.
As you get back to the safety of the previous intersection that had that caught you onto the areas that had tracks built into the walls, Astro, you have your Omni hook on you?
Yes, I do.
You get the tone that indicates someone is trying to contact you.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
Is now a bad time?
No, what's up?
We have incoming. This is not a voice you've heard before, COMET.
I'll say, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Who's incoming?
Corpos, they are sending their first forces. I don't know if they know how many of us are here. We're holding them off for now, but I would suggest hurrying up.
Okay, I copy you loud and clear.
We'll start holding them off. Might be rough. Work fast or something.
Okay, we will double time it. Keep me apprised of that situation.
You got it, buddy. That is the end of the conversation. He just disconnects.
All right, so whatever we need to do it fast.
You didn't even ask his name.
I didn't even ask his name. I didn't.
I'm going to write down unnamed rebel pilot here.
So I'll say to the others, whatever we need to do it fast. We need to get back to that security station. Let me look at a map. Are there other ways to reach the security station rather than the way we just tried to go? Like,
absolutely there are. Yes.
Okay.
The way you were going was the fastest way, but there are alternate routes.
We can try to take this more roundabout path to get to the security station.
COMET, give me a check, or anyone who's looking at COMET's layout of the buildings. If anyone feels like they're really good at reading like a tech diagram of a space station, give me a check for interpreting it.
It is a 9 investigation. So.
All right, Steve got a 9 on investigate. You corroborate COMET's, you want to check for yourself to make sure you think COMET's saying, the right stuff there. And you're like, okay, yeah, it will take us a little bit more time. We could go around that way. And then Dyne?
I rolled a 12 on investigate.
Right, on investigate. All right, Astro. Well, okay. We'll say you and Dyne both see this then, because both of you have rolled above a 10 here on this check. As you are taking a moment to really look over these plans, you think you start to get what some of the symbology on the plans mean. If you take the alternate route, the second fastest route to security room Chalmers, you can now identify the hallways that have those tracks in them. And this route is not free of those tracks.
Okay.
They're not as long, and you start to see where these tracks connect to is areas adjacent to or that move through the areas that have the cargo systems built into them.
I see.
So that part of the base happens to have a lot of cargo track areas. And it seems like on the opposite end, going in through the hallways, that means there's a lot of hallways that have cargo arm access as well. There is a very roundabout way you can take to get security point Chalmers that will only have those tracks at the very end of it, right when you get to the security room, but will take you significantly more time. The second fastest route, which is the other route, has more of those cargo tracks on it, but takes less time.
Okay. I'll point out both routes, and I'll say, if we had more time, I'd suggest going this way. And he traces out the longer route. But given what we just heard from our rebel friends, I don't think we have the luxury of taking this route. I think we just have to charge forward and deal with the threats as they come.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty then.
I mean, we don't know how many more things are going to throw down this track, but if we hear them coming, maybe we can hide and let them pass us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At least we know exactly where these tracks are now, so we can maybe, it won't take us completely by surprise.
Who has a good read a situation roll?
Not me.
Not me. I don't have it at all.
That's me.
I'm gonna call for one here because you're gonna note something about your plan coming together a little bit here.
18.
An 18. With an 18, Steve, you note that you've been traveling along the routes that had tracked wall for a while, but you only got attacked after you activated the comm systems and stayed in that one place for a while and used the stuff there. You piece together, you think COMET's subterfuge worked, and they can't detect exactly where you are until you stopped in a single place and used technology there. So they were able to pinpoint your location with the arms and send them after you, but you think there's a good chance they don't know exactly where you are right now. And that will be true going forward. That benefit for now continues to exist.
Sure.
These areas you're moving through have successfully masked your exact presence.
Okay, that's good.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, and I'll relay that too. Yeah.
Yeah, Astro's like, that's very good. Then as long as we don't stop anywhere and mess with anything, we just got to get through and get to the security station.
We can always bait it too as a distraction too, knowing that.
That's also a good point. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get moving. Faster the better.
You guys head down the route heading to Security Point Chalmers. As you get closer, you are making good time. You find your way. You get through the sections that don't have like the cargo track in them uneventfully. But you do keep track of hallways that break off there, rooms that are accessible versus rooms that aren't accessible, because you would discuss maybe ducking out of the way if need to. So you are keeping an eye out for other places you could be. As you get to areas that start having track, you start moving through. After about 5 minutes, you do hear a buzzing ahead of you, a rumbling of things that you now know means things are approaching on the track. What do you do?
Is there any way we could hide, get out of the way?
You can try.
Yeah, I'll try to direct everyone to hide behind. If there's something like a box or a wall or something that would put us out of view, I would have everyone shuffle over there as fast as possible.
Okay, so this will be about getting out of sight quickly. I'm going to need skill checks from the group.
Act unseen or unheard.
God damn it. My rolls are so bad today. I rolled a 2, which was, 6 for get somewhere quickly.
Okay, 6 on get somewhere quickly.
Oh, well, I rolled
a 4.
Also a 2
13
for act unseen or unheard.
Okay. Well, at least 2 of us.
Okay.
At least two Evelene and Dyne rolled stay cool. They were the only ones that stayed cool in this situation. 13, 14.
So what happens with half of your party succeeding is you're able to quickly spot an out of the way room that you believe is empty, that you can move into to get out of the way of the track. Comet and KESTRAL, you're both trying to find something that can like quickly get you out of the way that won't raise an alarm, but it's like slim pickings. You have to use this room. Dyne and Evelene are able to wedge open the door, and you all file in, but not having a lot of yeah, Astro yelling makes it less likely to be unheard. You all pile in, and being heard is what happens here. You all get out of the hallway before the arms get there. As you close the door behind you, you hear as the tracks slow and then stop just outside the room. And if you listen very closely, you can hear the whirring of machinery just outside as the arms don't move on immediately. They don't start shooting up the walls. They don't seem to have seen exactly where you ducked out of sight, but they hesitate here. They seem to have some sort of at least short range around the arm detection abilities.
Astro just looks at everyone else and puts a finger up to his lips and holds his breath.
Does anyone want to try something, or are we going to wait for them to move on, no matter how long that is?
Is there anything in this room, or what is in this room that we have hidden?
You are in a meeting room. There are a bunch of long tables all facing the front. At the front, there is one of those pull-down whiteboard screens. In the back of the room, on the ceiling, there is a projector. And currently being projected on the screen is unfolding Moravec's like company values, and there are workbooks on all of the tables that appear to be new hire orientation workbooks.
Are there any other doors, exits in this room?
There are 2 exits from the room, the one you entered from, and another one on the same wall, but further down. So it's like you can come into this room from the front or from the back, but both on the same side of the room. So one's way back behind all the long desks, and one's way up at the front by the whiteboard.
Okay. But same side of the room, same wall?
Same wall. It will go in the same hallway. Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
We could try to go to the other door and like throw something out there to make the...
Notably, that other one is further towards the direction you're going. You entered the near door.
Wow.
And then this room stretches further in the direction you're trying to get to.
We could just leave that way and try to sneak past it.
It depends if how these things sense us, or if they're person operated.
That's a thing you could try to decipher.
Can I read a situation to see if they're person operated?
You can try.
Work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll allow that.
20.
With a 20, Steve, you've seen systems like this before. The way they act, they appear to be remote, not automated, remote. So you believe they probably have something akin to a microphone built into them and something akin to a camera built into them, but they are being piloted by someone.
There we go.
What if part of me wants to set up like some sort of smokescreen type deal? Because if it is visually controlled, then if you create that subterfuge, then it'd be easier for us to get out. But I'm not sure what we have to create that smokescreen.
I still think
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. You go first.
I mean, the best I can think of is thermite causing a fire, but it feels like that's a waste of thermite.
Any distraction we cause will probably just send more turrets our way.
True.
Still think maybe our best course of action is go to the other door and try to sneak away from it.
I'm down.
That seems reasonable. Though we don't exactly know where it is, but it.
How far are these doors apart from each other?
They are about the width of a large corporate meeting room apart from each other. So I would say 20 feet.
That's a pretty okay distance. Okay. Are there other rooms that we've seen down the hall? Like, do I think if we left from the other door, we could slip into another room in front of us? I guess I would have to peek out and see.
You would know from having just been out there that there is other rooms, but it's a little hazy on how far away they were. That wasn't really what you were paying attention to that far ahead of you. You do know there are more rooms on this hallway.
Okay. Okay, so I'll sort of motion to the group as I very, very quietly go to the other door. And I will nudge it open, and I'll just peek out first and look at the turret and then look back the other direction.
You look as it is another one of those ceiling guns. It is pointed in the direction you've come from. So luckily, it's not pointed towards you. It is pointed away from you. But it is stopped in place, and it like rotates to look at one of the doors. And then it goes a little bit further down the track, and then it rotates to look at another one of the doors. Then it turns around and looks back in your direction, but you pull yourself out of the way. Yeah, not even a check. Like it is not subtle in its movements. You could tell it was turning around well before it did.
Yeah.
But then you hear the whirring of machinery, and as you peek back out, it is turned around. It is doing like a little patrol look around. Like someone is piloting this thing to look around. It will be risky to try and get past it, but it has limitations.
It has a time frame we could try to hit. Okay.
Who's the fastest one here?
I'm not the fastest, but I might be the stealthiest.
Because we can have someone. We could have someone open the other door, and I've got a grenade they could throw down the hallway. That should distract them enough for us to run past it.
Todd,
I mean, they're going to investigate that explosion.
Sure.
Is your invisibility suit still working? Or
no,
does that
it doesn't work.
It's okay.
Damaged.
He has not had enough time to fix it in between when it broke and now.
Makes sense.
The specific downside COMET got when I made the deal with him was this will be fixed for the remainder of this mission. This will be broken for the remainder of this mission. Yeah.
I'll say the only issue I have with throwing a grenade is anything that is obviously us is going to send more of those machines our way.
Oh, okay. You think they might think that we aren't here then. I see.
Yeah. If we can sneak out and maybe the person operating this turret will eventually think we could just wait it out too. I just don't like waiting too long since we're on a we're on a time crunch. Maybe we should just wait about 5 minutes though to see if it moves on.
I think we can afford 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
we should have
It's a long time.
How long does a battle normally take?
5 minutes.
Like a couple minutes. Yeah. Maybe I'll go figure out how that fight's going outside.
Oh, right.
All right. Yeah, I think we should just try to sneak out then. Seems like it's following a pattern, human operated or no, it's following a pattern of where it's looking and when. So we can time it and scramble out of here as quietly as we can. If there's another room or corner for us to go, let's head right for that so we're out of view as soon as possible.
All right, everyone, pull out your cardboard boxes.
Yeah. What was that noise?
Solid Snake, master of stealth.
I mean, there's probably cardboard boxes in this room if you think about it.
Oh yeah, there's small cardboard boxes in here. Not big enough for a person, but that's where all the workbooks came from.
Darn.
If you want a book about unfolding more of that corporate culture, you can grab one of those.
That's a bit of light reading.
Yeah.
Okay. So no one else has any better ideas. I say we do this.
Yeah, I mean, short of creating some sort of distraction, but that would make it more apparent that we're here. So if hiding is what we want to do, then let's do this.
How thick are the desks, by the way, Bob? Just out of curiosity.
They're like a long table where two people could comfortably sit next to each other and have a lot of space between them, or three people could sit kind of crammed together.
Okay. I'm just thinking if things hit the fan, we have the desk available.
I unfortunately, I don't think in units. I think in terms of personal usage. So I don't know how long the desks are, but three people could sit at it a little crampedly.
I have a thought. Steve, don't you have data plating?
Yeah.
So do I. And one thing it says about data plating is it allows users to communicate with each other all but silently.
Mm-hmm.
What if just two of us go ahead, we find some place to hide, and then we signal the other two of you to come when the coast is clear.
To what benefit exactly? I'm not saying it's like a bad idea. I'm just wondering what we're getting out of splitting up.
So I just see four people trying to sneakily move out of sight is more likely to fail than a smaller group. And then a smaller group that kind of acts as the advanced team can help the second group successfully navigate without being seen.
As long as we don't move too far away from each other, I think that's fine. If nothing else, it might confuse them a little bit.
Okay, so you're splitting up into a team of two and a team of two to like move forward?
Yeah, so I'll say, Dyne, you can be with me. We'll move ahead. When I looked out the door, did I see any rooms or other doors going the opposite direction?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
So we're gonna head to Dyne, you and I, we're going to head to the next room. Once we're in, I'll take another look outside and I'll signal, what's their name? Steve and Evelene, when the coast is clear.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like COMET is going to be leading this check with KESTRAL providing teamwork. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
KESTRAL, do you have a check that would be good for this? Because what I'm going to say here is basically I'm going to have COMET lead a group role, and then you can give him a +1 accuracy on this roll as long as you have a check that makes sense for the maneuver you're pulling off.
Get somewhere quickly, read a situation, stay cool, are like the potential options I could see here.
So what I'll say is any of those make sense for this. So I'm going to say you're eligible to give him that accuracy.
Sure.
Which one narratively are you doing, though? What's the biggest benefit Steve leading this second group provides the team?
Maybe get somewhere quickly.
That's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, I was just trying to think in my head. Yeah, but I'll go get somewhere quickly. Yeah.
So you're the one with CHIMERA, right?
Yeah.
So like being able to like get her to the right position at the right time, like being able to like move and dart and like stop on a dime is something you're providing for your team because you're the one getting signals from COMET who's moved on ahead. COMET, I'm going to have you roll a skill check. This is going to be a normal pilot skill check, but you're being given accuracy by Steve providing teamwork.
Okay. And I'm going to do act unseen or unheard.
Sounds good.
With accuracy. Okay, deep breath. Here we go. 24. Woohoo!
There we go.
All right.
That's more like
I want you to narrate this comment because this not only gets you to the next door, this is what you guys will be doing to get out of this situation. So show us what it looks like for COMET kind of like leading these two groups out of range of this arm.
All right. So basically, COMET peeks his head out the door again, sees the turret, what position it's in, and then closes the door again and listens to the noises it makes when it rotates. So he knows when it is turned towards us and when it turned away. And right when it turns away, he's going to silently like hand signal Dyne, be like, let's go. And they'll both kind of crouch run to the next door, silently get inside the door, and they close it right before the turret looks their way again. Then Astro will take another look outside to evaluate the situation, and he watches the turret, and when he hears it turn away, he'll send a signal through the data plating to KESTRAL saying, go, go, go. And then
KESTRAL, do you want to provide a little bit of flavor to how your team kind of like falls in behind COMET's team?
I'll open the door as they go into the hallway so they see which door we're in.
Steve?
Did we lose him?
Oh, I'm just muted. I'm sorry.
There we are.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the flavor is not going to be like narratively interesting because we're attempting to not be, right? Like we move up quickly. Like a door opens, we move out when we told, we see a door, we run, we quietly just move up to it as quick as we can and get inside. You know, it's what it is.
Totally. The camera kind of almost zooms out, giving like less detail of the situation as, you know, these bumps that were once people that were closer to the camera, as they get further and further away, it's almost like the camera is focused on where the arm is, and your two groups get less and less noticeable as your little shadows move further and further and further down the hallway. And just like the camera, we lose sight of the party as they escape deeper into the station. You guys are able to make good time. You did not summon any additional scouts or forces to your location. It does not seem that arm called for any additional sensors or anything like that. So you have a pretty safe time for the rest of the duration of getting towards security room Chalmers. You get to the last stretch of the security room where you know that there's a few intersections that all come around to a similar point. There is an approach to security room Chalmers, where you know there is, based on the map, a security door. But you don't know what that means until you get close. As you get close and peek around a corner ahead of you, you see a security door closed with 2 cameras posted just above the door, one at each corner, pointed like down and over the hallway that leads to Chalmers. You know that there's a room behind it, some sort of security control room, but in this hallway there are two of those armed with guns on them posted just outside the door, both aiming down the hallway. They're just posted up, not moving. They're just aimed directionally where you guys would have to come from to get to this door.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, are these the same types of guns we've been seeing everywhere?
They're the same, yes.
Okay. Just making a note of that for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. There is also another thing that is odd. There are 3 what appear to be half domes of black glass lodged into the ceiling at regular intervals going down this hallway towards the door.
Are they cameras, do I think?
You could assume, but you have no way of knowing for sure. There are 3 black domes of glass that are on the ceiling at like 10-foot intervals from each other, all the way going up to that door.
Okay.
How big are these domes?
They are bowling ball sized.
I'll say, well, I don't see any way for us to sneak into the security station. So maybe now's the time for a distraction as we make our approach.
I don't suppose there's another way to get around this hallway, right?
This is the entrance to Security Point Chalmers.
Okay.
The other side of Security Point Chalmers is behind the security line, so to speak. It's like, imagine if this is like a castle tower on a curtain wall, right? There's no access point in Chalmers that goes into the deep security area, but it is like on the edge of the deeper security area. So like behind it would be beyond that. And this is the only way into it from this side. It is effectively a fortress tower.
My next question, given my somewhat familiarity with these guns, if I were to get up to one of them, how would I be able to like reasonably disable one within like a few seconds or something? Or
in the same way everyone else could, by hitting it real hard. I mean, you don't have a distinctive advantage by having seen inside of it, I would say.
Okay, I was thinking they might be reinforced guns, preventing us from just shooting them.
Oh, they're durable, but unfortunately looking at the guts of them does not give you kind of an advantage in that way. You could like try to break them in a specific way better than other people, but if you're just trying to break them and don't care how they break, everyone's at about the same proficiency of that right now.
Okay.
If you're trying to do something specific to them, you would be better at that.
I mean, we could just shoot the guns and run down the hallway, I guess. I mean, they're going to find out we're breaking in regardless, so I'm not sure how important the cameras are, actually.
Well, if they are cameras.
True. This is true.
I was thinking we could toss a grenade down there. Maybe that would provide us a little cover as we start to approach.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so are you guys gonna do like a shock and awe kind of like storm the door maneuver?
I think so. Is there
Seems like
cover along the way?
No,
Okay.
no. This is built to be defensible.
Yeah.
Are there dumb question? There's lights right down this hallway.
You can see the emergency lights are on, which means that like the cracks of the walls and stuff have like a kind of ominous orange light that illuminates everything around you. You've been able to see by this the whole time. It does not impede you in any way, but it's a little ominous.
I was toying around with the idea of like killing the lights so that at least it's harder to see us, but I'm not sure if we could even do that from here. Probably not.
Plus, they may be using thermal imaging.
True. Probably are.
What I will say is if you're looking for things that are distinct around this area is before entering that hallway, there is a comm station that seems to be the comm station for security room Chalmers. So like it's literally on the wall. Like imagine if the hallway is basically a shooting gallery that leads to the door. Before you go down that hallway, on the hallway you're in, that's like a T off of that's perpendicular to it. There is like a comm system that for the purpose of calling into the security point.
Okay.
We could get Astro to charm someone again.
I don't know if it'll work as well this time.
Probably not.
I feel like we had that guy. Until they gassed him. He was ready to star in his movie.
I guess he's starring in a new role now.
Sleeping Beauty.
For all we know, this might be another Mickey. This could be Mickey 2. And then,
17.
Yeah. By the end of this mission, we'll meet 17 of them.
I want to see that movie.
Me too.
All right. Yeah, let's do the shock and awe approach. Toss a grenade down. Storm it before they can react too much.
All right, so because this is all going to happen very quickly, what's the plan? Like, is a grenade, then you all storm down the hallway, or like what? Outline to me like the next 5-second sequence of events.
So I will throw the grenade first, and that will be my first thing, and then I will start to get into position to fire my ordnance heavy signature after that.
Okay. With the goal to try and neutralize the turrets or to hit the door or like what's the
my first action is to throw the grenade and then get into position, right? It's up to what everyone does after that for how I respond because I don't know what they're doing. Like they could take out both turrets, right? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Grenade distraction, then positioning for you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think I'm just going to sprint down the hall and try to shoot one of the turrets.
Okay. So your first action is just after the grenade, try to close in on one of the two turrets.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll provide covering fire. If they're moving into position, as soon as the grenade goes off, I'm just going to start firing to try and give the turrets even more to distract them with.
Okay, so you're more. So I would allow you then to give accuracy to someone else acting with your action. Then
okay. Yep, that
since
makes
you're
sense.
providing covering fire, essentially.
I'll give my accuracy to whomever I think is the weaker position. Is my logic.
Okay. Cool. We can decide that when we get there. Then.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a similar thing for Kestrel. Kestrel, you'll be able to decide whether or not you want your thing to be active or supportive as the situation develops. Chimera, what is your first 5-second plan of attack here?
I think I'm in the similar boat of like if I could provide support with the shooting, then it's better than nothing, really. I don't have much else to contribute otherwise.
So just to confirm, throw a grenade, distraction, maybe catch something in the blast. Comet runs down, tries to take out one of the turrets. And then everyone else is just like gonna provide support and see what happens?
I'd like at least one other person to run down with me, maybe.
I'll just mention Chimera. Go with Comet. See if you can at least try and disable one of the turrets,
all right,
either by shooting or otherwise.
Yeah, I was hoping to not put myself in danger for once. I've done that a lot and never come out cleanly, but sure, I can do it.
Dyne is suddenly leaning towards providing Chimera more covering fire than normal.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that stim back, by the way. No, I'll go with Comet.
All right. So to start things off, let's see how
could take a stim if you have it. It's probably the time to use it.
Maybe. Let's see how the initial engagement goes.
Yeah. Okay.
KESTRAL. Throw that grenade. What do we see? What pilot check are you using here?
It's just assault, I guess.
Yeah, assault's great for this. You have not been detected yet. This is going to be a straight pilot check.
Maybe I'll hit them with the grenade.
Maybe.
I do not. It's a 5.
But in this case, no other downsides. The grenade does not do extra here, but it does get attention. As the grenade flies down the hallway and explodes, the ground is set for the storming the hallway. So the first few seconds after the explosion is Comet and Chimera. Are you both storming down the hallway to attack a different arm each then?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'll take that one. Wait, what were you going to say, Evelene?
Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll use the grapple gun to close the distance a little faster.
Were you able to replace your grapple gun?
I believe so. I think I remember asking you said it was cool.
Yeah, I think we did when we were doing the downtime or the in-between mission. Okay, so you have your grapple gun back, yeah.
So I'm like, Evelyn, you take that one, I'll take this one. And
sure.
Charge down the hallway.
Let's do it.
Question. Of the two of you, I know Comet has cybernetics. Chimera, do you have any cybernetics?
Nope. Homegrown normal human.
I will say my cybernetics are currently fried.
That's correct. Chimera, your gear is currently mag clamps and wilderness survival kit and grapple gun. Is that right?
That is correct.
Great.
I want both wilderness survival kit on this mission.
That actually has like suit patches and rebreathers and stuff like that. So actually,
the reason I took it.
Not too bad for Zero G, funnily enough. But I had the same response reading it that you did.
Yeah, it's not the name; it's the contents.
Chimera and Comet, both of you will need to make a roll that is a dangerous roll.
I bet.
I figured as much. Cool.
Comet, you will be making this with difficulty.
Okay.
Oh.
I have stay cool, I guess.
Now,
that's all I got.
You two watch Chimera and Comet charge down the hallway. I'm going to provide now an option. Firstly, we know Dyne is doing support. You can choose to give accuracy to one of these two. KESTRAL, you can also do something here. You will have to choose between giving accuracy to one of the two of your advanced forces or trying to take a shot yourself.
Can I let one of them roll first? And then decide to do it on the second person?
Okay, then we're going to split these up into two rolls. Who's going first, Comet or Chimera?
Sorry, I can go. There was an ambulance going by. I had to mute my mic.
Yeah, all right, so you think Evelene got ahead of Comet here?
Yeah, I think so.
Especially if I'm using my grapple gun. I feel like I would have to get ahead.
So because we're doing these split up, Dyne, you're going to have to choose now. Do you help Evelene or do you save it for COMET?
I said I was leaning towards helping Evelene, so Evelene gets accuracy.
Okay.
Yay.
This is a dangerous check with accuracy, Chimera. What do you use?
The only thing I have is stay cool.
Okay, stay cool is fine for this.
And I have accuracy, right?
Yeah, you do.
Ooh, all right. Here we go. 27?
Ooh,
Holy
wowzer,
shit.
wowzer.
Evelene, like a master stroke. You rolled a
Crit.
20 on this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I rolled
absolutely.
a 20 plus everything else.
As a master stroke on this, you charge down as soon as you hear the explosion. You even outpace Astro going down the hallway, almost in a reversal from when he came in to help you with the loader mech. You sprint ahead of him, cock your shotgun, aim it up at one of the two guns, and just blam! It completely dislodges one of these two turrets before it can even sight you. In that same split second, COMET, you, trailing moments behind, see a shower of sparks as Chimera expertly disables one of these arms.
Okay.
At this point, I will need to know, is Steve helping COMET or going to make his own shot as an extra attempt?
No, I'll help COMET.
Okay. That will, COMET,
give you a flat roll, right?
Yeah, that will get rid of your difficulty, but this is still a dangerous check.
Okay. Can I take control in this situation?
Take control is perfect for this.
All right. Here we go. Flat roll, 17.
Astro,
I'll take it.
you launch yourself forward.
I'll get hurt, but
You aim at this gun, and again, your shock and awe worked perfectly here. Before it could even sight on you, you shoot the joint of the thing, the turret goes down, you feel on top of the world. This was, what a great, wow. Astro, this could not have gone any better. You executed this like you were security forces. And the second you get ready to celebrate your expert maneuvering, a intense, searing pain goes through your entire body, COMET,
ouch.
as you drop to your knees, and it all, to the rest of you, looks like COMET is being electrocuted from the inside. COMET, you're going to take 2 armor-piercing pilot damage.
Okay. It's looking a little rough.
Evelene, in the moments you turn and see COMET in this position, you feel something weird happening in your equipment. As all of a sudden, you feel a heaviness in your gear that threatens to pull you off balance. What do? You don't know what's causing it yet. You have to make a quick split-second decision about what to do when all of a sudden your pack of gear starts to feel like it's knocking you off balance.
I never really thought about this before, but how hard is it to take off the gear?
It's not incredibly hard. It like has clamps and stuff that you can like quickly detach it and stuff. If you do, you will not have access to any of your gear until you figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm seeing Astro bugging out and my gear's starting to act up, I think my first reaction would be to take it off.
Okay. If you just decouple your gear, you watch as everything you're not currently holding, and remind me, use the grapple gun to wedge that out of position, right?
Yes.
So you don't have any of your weapons either. Those all get ripped away from you. All you have in your hand is your grapple gun. As your entire pack gets flung up against the wall and sticks to the wall, you hear a loud ka-chunk from inside your gear as all 3 of your mag clamps activate and magnetize your gear to the wall.
Oh, that's cool and bad at the same time.
You are all watching COMET get electrocuted. It does not stop. What do you do?
Let's see. What do I know about COMET cybernetics?
You know that they are built into his arm.
If I look up,
arms got to come off.
That's plan B. The black glass, are they showing any signs of activation?
They look like black glass.
I think what I'm going to do is, how far away are we? Like, how down the hallway are we? Like, if I could, like, chuck Astro down the hall or something.
You feel like you're close enough to the end of the hallway that you could effectively move COMET.
I'm gonna pick COMET up and just kind of throw him or move him out of the way, like out of the hallway, or at least away from the black glass.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
I'll just grab him by his shirt collar and just kind of yank him and just throw him toward
as COMET is thrown down. Yeah, as COMET is thrown down the hallway, Orion, you grab him, pull him aside. COMET, you feel the electrocution feeling subside as you leave that hallway. But it was incredibly painful.
Oh, sorry, I was mute. No, it's my turn to be muted. Yeah, Astro just says, what was that?
I'll point at the
What happened?
I'll point at the black glass. Say, I don't know, something to do with cybernetics or electronics?
I mean, I'm going to shoot at the black glass.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, you get started. You reacted fast enough that can be your check for this round before the next thing happens.
It's just an assault.
Totally.
20.
With a 20, you are quickly able to pop around the corner, take aim, and of the three, this is just curious, the furthest one from you, the middle one, or the closest one to you, which one do you shoot?
Probably closest. Yeah.
Okay. Shot. It is rather durable. It cracks the glass. It is only the third shot on target that breaks open the black glass, and you see just sparks of weird antenna-like circuitry inside get fried as you blow it open. As this happens is when you all start hearing whirring coming from the three different directions that all head to this hallway.
Yeah.
As they are recalling their cargo arms that had been sent out to different locations. You have a moment to act, but you know they're coming. What do the four of you do?
So we only disabled one of the black glass spears, right?
Yes. Both arm turrets are down. One of the black spheres on the ceiling is down, and you hear that the tracks have activated to recall more arms.
I'm going to point at Dyne and say, thermite time, and point at the door.
I go,
wait,
yes.
Do you have cybernetics?
No.
Okay, then get over there.
Yes, boss?
I'll just nod and say, do it.
Use thermite on the door.
All right. This is going to expend your thermite for the mission.
Yep.
But you get to the door. You load the thermite onto it. You are able to get it all set up. Orion, something odd starts to happen as you're finishing the setup for the thermite. You need to get out of here because it's activating before you can get away from it. How do you get away from it?
As someone who's probably worked with this before, I recognize the early ignition, and I just move with speed to get as fast as possible. I react and just jump back.
This is going to be a pilot check as dangerous.
Probably stay cool.
That's perfectly perfect.
To not be burned.
Now roll a perfectly perfect roll.
Probably not. I rolled an 8.
That's not what we want.
Ooh, okay. Orion, the thermite goes off early. You were almost done setting it up, and it does blow a solid hole through the door, but not big enough for a person to get through. As you run away from the device as fast as possible, the explosion ignites behind you, throwing you into the far wall with the concussive force of it. You take 3 pilot damage.
So I'll take 2.
Damn, that is a
As
heavy
you all watch,
thermite.
yeah, it was. It's meant to go through ship hulls, is the thing. Yeah. Orion, it is the concussive blast that kind of like, you all watch Dyne like ragdoll against the wall. He looks fine as he like shakes it off and starts to stand back up, but it's going to take him a moment to collect himself. You all look down the hallway and see there is now like a, I would call it like a 2-foot across hole blown into the door, but the door is still solid. It would take, I don't think any of you are contortion-y enough to get through it, unfortunately. Unless you have something crazy. But there is a hole in the door going into the security room now.
I mean, that hole's big enough to throw a grenade in.
Yeah.
That is true.
That'll expend my last grenade, but...
Is that what we're doing?
If no one else has anything else, I'm going to do that, yeah.
I assume you have no cybernetics either.
No.
Okay. It's just Astro.
Poor Astro.
I mean, like, data plating is not cybernetics, I don't think.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's
KESTRAL, as you run towards the room, getting ready to throw the grenade through the hole, I'm going to need a check to see if you can get it somewhere where it will make a difference inside. You know that the room in there is large-ish, so throwing it anywhere is not going to like hit the whole room. So you're still going to have to aim it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
How does KESTRAL decide where this grenade is going?
Can I hear anything inside as I'm approaching?
You do. Yeah, you hear stuff inside. You hear... funnily, whimpering, a scared yelp as the explosion goes off. You hear people whispering furtively, and you hear someone go, "Shut up."
All right, I'm going to throw it in the direction of "Shut up, man."
Okay.
He seems like he's the one in charge.
Was.
What pilot check are you using?
Let's go with,
Can I make a recommendation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you are identifying the right target and the threats in a situation, I would let you literally throw this grenade with read a situation.
I was going to ask that same thing. Like, that's what I was thinking as you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you just did. You just read a situation.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I'll do that.
This is dangerous.
Ooh, well, I got a 21.
But it doesn't matter.
Oh,
KESTRAL,
great.
as you run down the hallway, hear that "shut up," and you're like, gotcha. You pull the pin out of the grenade, prime it, throw it through the hole. As the grenade is going end over end to your intended target through the air, where is the data plating you use, KESTRAL?
I mean, it's probably like a headset thing on my like ear.
Okay.
Over like the mouth kind of thing.
Yeah, like a SOCOM style like headset that goes in front of your mouth kind of thing. You start to feel like almost this static in your data plating, but not for long enough to cause an issue. Like literally as you're like reaching up to grab the data plating off your ear, it stops because that's the same second the grenade explodes inside the room.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever was about to mess with your data plating stops. As you hear a loud explosion inside, there is screaming from beyond the door. People go, ah, ah, like you hear people diving for cover.
Right.
But you're not sure what happened back there. But you know that your data plating is not getting attacked anymore. You do continue to hear the arms coming towards you all, though.
I'll yell, I'll make a motion for everyone to move up. and then I'll yell in, I don't want to have to keep throwing grenades in. You have 3 seconds to open this door.
In 1 second, the door opens.
Oh, wow.
You all are able to pile into the room, and what you find in there, we'll find out next time.
Aw. Okay, fine.
Cliffhanger.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see what's behind that door in Security Room Chalmers next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
This is
All
like
right,
the
good
Monty
job,
Hall
everyone.
problem. Could I open a different door now?
Yeah. I'd like to change my answer, please.